Imagine waking up 40,000 years ago. No bathroom, no sink, no toothpaste, no minty fresh mouthwash promising 24-hour protection. You haven't brushed your teeth in your entire life. Neither has anyone you've ever met. Yet somehow, your teeth are still there. In fact, many ancient humans had teeth that were surprisingly healthy, which raises a strange question. If toothbrushes were invented only a few hundred years ago, and toothpaste is a very modern invention, then how did ancient humans clean their teeth? Or did they simply walk around with rotten mouths and terrible breath for thousands of years? The answer is far stranger than most people realize, because the story of ancient teeth isn't really about toothbrushes. It's about diet, evolution, and one of the biggest health mistakes humans ever made. And here's the part nobody tells you. If you could travel back 20,000 years and examine the teeth of a hunter-gatherer, you might actually be looking at a healthier mouth than the average person living in a modern city today. Not because ancient humans were cleaner, not because they knew secret dental techniques, but because their entire lifestyle was working in ways modern life isn't. And the evidence for this is genuinely fascinating. To understand why, we have to start with a world before toothpaste, before dentists, before cavities became common. A world where losing a tooth could become a serious problem, and where your own mouth was one of the most important tools you possessed. Think about what your teeth actually do. Every day they tear, crush, grind, chew. Without them, eating becomes difficult. And for ancient humans, eating wasn't just about comfort. It was survival. A broken leg might heal, a cut might heal, but if your teeth became too damaged to eat properly, you could be in real trouble. That's why archaeologists pay enormous attention to ancient teeth. Teeth survive thousands of years in the ground, long after skin disappears, long after clothing rots away, long after wooden tools turn to dust. Teeth remain, and they tell stories. Stories about what people ate, how old they were, where they lived, even what kind of life they lived. When scientists began examining prehistoric teeth, they expected something obvious: terrible dental health. After all, no toothbrushes, no dentists, no fluoride, no toothpaste. Surely their mouths must have been a disaster. Instead, the evidence showed something unexpected. Many ancient hunter-gatherers had remarkably low rates of cavities. Some populations had almost none, which immediately created a mystery. How is that possible? How can people who never visited a dentist have fewer cavities than people who brush twice a day? The answer starts with food, because teeth don't really care whether you're using mint toothpaste. Teeth care about what you're putting in your mouth. And ancient humans were eating very different things from us. For most of human history, people lived as hunter-gatherers. They hunted animals, collected fruits, gathered nuts, dug up roots, and ate whatever nature provided. What they didn't have was refined sugar, no candy, no soda, no chocolate bars, no cookies, no breakfast cereal, no hidden sugar in almost everything. Modern bacteria love sugar. Give those bacteria enough sugar and they produce acids. Those acids attack teeth. Cavities begin. But for most ancient humans, this process happened far less often. Their diet simply didn't feed cavity-causing bacteria the way ours does. In some prehistoric populations, cavities appear in less than 1% of examined teeth. Today, billions of people experience tooth decay. That's an enormous difference. But that doesn't mean ancient teeth were perfect. Far from it. They had a different problem. Wear. Lots of wear. Imagine chewing tough roots every day. Dried meat. Fibrous plants. Seeds. Grit. Tiny particles of dirt mixed into food. Ancient meals were often surprisingly abrasive. Every bite acted like sandpaper. Over years and decades, teeth slowly wore down. Archaeologists frequently find ancient skulls where the teeth are flattened almost completely. Not because they were rotten, because they had been used so much. Imagine turning a brand new shoe into a worn-out shoe simply by walking thousands of miles. The same thing happened to teeth. They wore down through use. And here's where things get interesting. Many ancient humans didn't just use their teeth for eating. They used them as tools. Need to soften animal hide? Use your teeth. Need to hold something while working? Use your teeth. Need extra grip? Use your teeth. Researchers have found evidence that some ancient people treated their mouths like a third hand. Their teeth were multi-tools, which sounds impressive, until you realize you're basically using your face as a toolbox. Still, this extra were often left distinctive marks archaeologists can identify thousands of years later. But let's return to the original question. Did ancient humans actually clean their teeth? The answer appears to be yes, just not in the way you'd expect. Evidence from various ancient cultures suggests people used chewing sticks, small twigs from specific plants. One end would be chewed until it became soft, and brush-like. The fibers spread apart, creating something surprisingly similar to a toothbrush. In fact, versions of chewing sticks are still used in parts of the world today, and some studies suggest they're surprisingly effective. Imagine discovering the toothbrush without inventing the toothbrush, just a stick. And curiosity. Humans are remarkably good at solving problems with whatever happens to be nearby. But chewing sticks weren't the only method. Ancient people experimented constantly. Charcoal, ash, crushed minerals, plant fibers, various abrasive materials. Different cultures developed different approaches. Some worked better than others. Some probably worked worse. And some were likely the ancient equivalent of reading terrible health advice online. Because humans have always been creative, and creativity doesn't always produce good ideas. One fascinating discovery comes from ancient skulls found in various regions around the world. Some contain grooves between teeth, tiny grooves, as if something repeatedly passed through those spaces. Researchers believe many ancient people used plant fibers, grass stems, or thin sticks to remove trapped food. Essentially, primitive flossing. Think about that. Thousands of years before dental advertisements, people were already trying to clean between their teeth, not because a dentist told them to, because trapped food is annoying. Some problems are universal, no matter what century you live in. And then archaeologists discovered something even more surprising. Evidence of ancient dental procedures. Yes, dental procedures. Thousands of years ago. One famous example comes from what is now Pakistan. Researchers found teeth dating back roughly 9,000 years, showing signs of deliberate drilling. Tiny holes, carefully made, not damage, not accidents, intentional work. Someone was performing a primitive dental treatment. Imagine being the first dentist in human history. No anesthesia, no electric tools, no reassuring posters on the wall, just a patient and a very determined individual holding a sharp stone drill. Suddenly your next dental appointment doesn't seem so bad. But why were people going to such lengths? Because tooth pain is powerful. Anyone who has experienced a severe toothache knows exactly what I'm talking about. Tooth pain can dominate your entire life. It can keep you awake, make eating miserable, make thinking difficult. Ancient humans were no different. If something relieved pain, people paid attention. Knowledge spread. Techniques evolved. Generation after generation. Long before dentistry became a profession. Another misconception is that ancient people didn't care about bad breath. Of course they did. Humans are social creatures. Social animals notice smells. Researchers believe many ancient cultures chewed aromatic plants and herbs, not only for medicinal reasons, but likely for freshening the mouth as well. Mint-like plants, herbs, resins, tree gums. Humans have been trying to smell better for a very long time. The modern packaging changed. The goal didn't, but then something happened. Something that transformed human teeth forever. Agriculture. Around 12,000 years ago, humans began shifting from hunting and gathering toward farming. At first, this sounds like progress. More food, permanent settlements, growing populations, civilization. And in many ways, it absolutely was. But your teeth had a different opinion. Farming introduced large amounts of carbohydrates, grains, stored foods, eventually more sugars. As agricultural societies expanded, cavity rates often increased dramatically. Archaeologists see this pattern repeatedly. Hunter-gatherers, few cavities. Early farmers, more cavities. Civilization gave humanity many incredible things. But for your teeth, it was something of a mixed review. And the industrial age made everything even worse. Refined sugar became common, cheap, available everywhere. The bacteria responsible for tooth decay essentially won the lottery. Modern humans gained convenience. Their mouths inherited the consequences. So if ancient humans didn't have toothpaste and often had healthier teeth, what does that actually tell us? It reveals something important. The toothbrush matters, but diet matters even more. A perfect toothbrush cannot completely protect teeth from a terrible diet. And a healthy diet can sometimes protect teeth surprisingly well even without modern products. The story was never just about cleaning. It was about what humans were eating in the first place. And that's a lesson stretching back thousands of years. When people imagine ancient humans, they often picture dirty cavemen with rotten teeth. The reality is much more complicated. Many had fewer cavities than we do. Many cleaned their teeth with sticks, fibers, herbs, and natural materials. Some even performed surprisingly sophisticated dental procedures. They weren't ignorant. They were practical. They observed problems, experimented with solutions, and passed useful knowledge from one generation to the next. The toothbrush sitting in your bathroom today didn't appear out of nowhere. It's the latest version of an idea humans have been refining for thousands of years. A simple desire to keep one of our most valuable tools working. Our teeth. In a strange way, every time you brush your teeth, you're participating in a tradition far older than civilization itself. Ancient humans may not have had electric toothbrushes, but they understood something important. Healthy teeth matter, and they were willing to get surprisingly creative to protect them. So the next time you're standing in front of the mirror brushing your teeth, Take a second to think about the people who came before you. The hunter-gatherers chewing cleaning sticks beside a fire. The early farmers dealing with humanity's first wave of cavities. The ancient experimenters figuring things out one generation at a time. Because for thousands of years, humans have been trying to solve the exact same problem, keeping their teeth long enough to enjoy another meal. And if you enjoyed this journey into ancient human life, subscribe for more questions history rarely answers. Because some of the strangest parts of being human began long before anyone thought to write them down.